used carefully. Some of them are aesthetic, some of them can be quite unaesthetic, and it has to be sung with care because it's easily to go wrong because they tend to confuse the intuition. And there are very beautiful songs in such ragas like Sarasi Ruhasana Priye Amba Swaminatha Paripalaya Sumam Ninne Bhajana. These are all songs in that ragam. You will see the color of the ragam being projected in those songs. Some more discussion on the Melakarta ragams. A scholar named Venkatamakin invented the Melakarta scheme way back in the 17th century. He was the first to comprehensively classify raga in a periodic table-like arrangement. A complete list of the 72 Melakarta ragams is given in table 4, which I will not go through in great detail. When Venkatamakin devised his table, only a few of the 72 ragams were known. Using his schematization, Venkatamakin not only catalogued the existing Melakarta ragams but also filled in the gaps by coming up with the key sequence for the rest of the Melakarta ragams. Thus, the scheme helped discover new Melakarta ragams, which in turn led to even new derivative or child ragams from using those, or what are known as Janya ragams. Composers and performers lapped it up and made songs in the new hitherto unknown ragams. Table 4, the ragam 29 is our friendly ragam Shankarabharanam, though its less well-known official name Dhira Shankarabharanam is used in the table because it corresponds to a fancy scheme for being able to figure out the number of the Melakarta ragam Dhira from the name itself, the first two aksharas of the name, and vice versa. This brings out yet another aspect of the Melakarta scheme. The names of the ragam are not arbitrary. The names contain mnemonics which spell out which keys are used in the ragam. From the name Dhira Shankarabharanam, we can figure out it's actually all white keys by converting it into the number and using the number to figure out what the raga swarasthanas are. Venkatamakin was lucky that most of the 72 ragams were not known, so that he could assign names to them or add a prefix to the existing ones. Imagine if all the ragas were to exist first and then you try to group them, you might not have such a mnemonic scheme possible. In fact, in Hindustani music, such schemes were not invented, and we now have hundreds of ragams which were tough to classify using such simple mnemonics. Of course, the absence of such a comprehensive scheme is by no means a negative or a deficiency in the system. In music, like most things in life, we don't and should not want to make value judgments. Let me now explain to you the mnemonic of the Katapayadi scheme, thanks to R. Pichumani for notes in this section. So, the Katapayadi scheme essentially assigns numbers to syllables. For example, Ka is assigned the number 0, and Ka is assigned the number 1, Ga is assigned the number 2, and Gha is 3. And so on, and this sort of repeats as the basic aksharas or syllables of the Hindi or Sanskrit language come around. So, for example, the Dhira, the way it comes is the word Ra, the Ra, okay, corresponds to Ya Ra La Va. So that Ya Ra is number 2, and Dha is number 9. Tha Tha Dha 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 Na. Okay, so number 9 is Tha Tha Dha Dha. So Dhi Ra is refers to the 9 and number 2s. So if you turn around or reverse that scheme, it will become 29. So Dha stands for 9, Ra stands for 2, that is 92. If you reverse 92, you get 29. Okay, so this is the funny way in which you get the scheme. So assign the numbers. So the scheme is as follows: assign the numbers to the first two syllables of the Melakarta ragam. For example, Harikambodi, the syllable Ha is 8 and Ra is 2, thus Hari is 82. The Melakarta number of this ragam is obtained by simply interchanging the digits. 82 becomes 28, and in fact Harikamboji is the 28th Melakarta ragam. And we saw the same example for Dhira Shankarabharanam. You can see that Shankarabharanam probably existed before the scheme was invented, and thus the author had to alias it to conform to his lookup table scheme. There are such other aliased ragams. The popular ragam Thodi is aliased or expanded to become Hanumantodi, and Kalyani is become Mecha Kalyani, so that you can apply the Katapayadi scheme, naming scheme. Another example is the Ragam Maya Malava-Gaula. It used to be called Malava-Gaula, and it has been renamed to Maya. Ma is 5, Ya is 1, yielding 51, which inverted gives 15, and so on. What are the advantages of such mathematical and more almost hackers type of scheme? 1. The Melakarta scheme does not tell you if a given Ragam is a Melakarta or not. If you know it is a Melakarta Ragam, you can find out what its number is. For example, you can see what number is the Ragam Pantuvarali, which is called Kamavardhini. Or you can see what is the number for Ragam Purvi Kalyani. It should be 21 if you look at Pa and Ra and so on. But it's not even a Melakarta Ragam, so you cannot use the above lookup algorithm. So you have to first know whether the Ragam is a Melakarta Ragam. Incidentally, if you look up the table 4, which lists all the Melakarta Ragams, you will see that the very two famous Ragams, Shankarabharanam called Dhira Shankarabharanam and Kalyani called Mecha Kalyani, have identical notes except for Ma. Shankarabharanam has the Shuddha Madhyamam, Ma, whereas Kalyani has Prati Madhyamam. Ma, Sari, Sari, Gama, Sari, Gama. That is the difference. Thus, the table is divided into two groups of 36 Ragams each, and the only difference between the Ragam on the left and the Ragam on the right is the Ma key used. The first 36 from Kanakangi to Chalanatai are called the Shuddha Madhyama Ragams, and the other 36 are called the Prati Madhyama Ragams, or Ma 2 Ragams. Melakartas which differ from each by 36, such as Harikambudi and Vachaspati, Kiravani and Simhendra Madhyamam, etc., have the same Arohanam and Avarohanam except for the Madhyamam. But however, the shape or the form is very, very different. How do we figure out if the Arohanam and Avarohanam are the keys to use from the name of the Melakarta Ragam? If somebody tells you Kiravani, you can quickly locate the keys on a keyboard corresponding to the Ragam. Can you? You just have to look up table 4 to see how cyclical the whole thing is. All Melakarta Ragams in the same group of 6, that is 1 to 6, 7 to 12, 35 to 30, 25 to 30, have the same Sarigama. All Ragams which differ from each other by 6 have the same Padanisa. Karahara Priya, Harikambudi, Himavati, Nasika Bhushni have the same Padanisa because they all leave a remainder of 4 when divided by 6. So, just to summarize, all Melakarta Ragams from 1 to 36 use Ma 1. Those from 37 to 72 use Prati Madhyamam or Ma 2. The Re-Ga assignment is as follows. Re-1 Ga 1 Melakarta is for Melakartas 1 to 6 and 37 to 42. And Re-1 Ga 2 Melakartas from 7 through 12, 43 to 48, and so on and so forth. And Dha-Ni assignment is as follows. Take the Melakarta Ragam and divide it by 6 and look at the remainder. If Ni1, Dha1, Ni1, if the remainder is 1, Dha1, Ni2, if the remainder is 2, and so on. So if your head is spinning, you can just look up the table and figure it out. Okay. So these are all for people who want to keep it all in your mind and figure out all the raga and so on. So you have all you have to do is take a Melakarta Ragam, from its name determine its number using the Katapayadi scheme, from the number figure out the Arohana Avarohana. Simple enough. Okay, this again just gives the basic scale but not the mood or the form of the Ragam in greater detail than that. Let's move on. Again, among the 72 such major Ragams, not all of them are equally popular. Some of them are quite obscure, especially the ones whose keys are not spread apart well through the octave. However, many musicians have composed in all 72 Melakarta Ragas, Kotishwara Iyer for one. Musicians like M.S. Subbalakshmi and S. Balachandar have recorded all 72 Melakarta Ragas, so you can buy a CD of theirs. The Shuddha Madhyamam is just the official name for Ma 1 group of 36 Ragams are by and large more popular than the Prati Madhyamam. Prati Madhyamam is same as Ma 2 group. Ma 2 is supposed to be more negative and sad. The more unpopular Ragams are the ones like Kanakangi, which use closely spaced keys. The Raga Maya Malagala, on the other hand, has well spaced out keys. Sa, Re, 1 space.